Hello everybody, how are you? Welcome to the 42nd episode of the 3 a.m. Knitter podcast. My name is Anne and I am the 3 a.m. Knitter. This is Sunday, November the 17th, 2024, and I am thrilled that you are here joining me. So if this is your first time here, welcome. You can find all of my contact information and my socials all down below in the description box. And if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back and spending some time with me. I'm so happy that you're here. All right, so today we're going to talk a little bit about, excuse me, stash planning. Got some things to talk to you about that. And also I want to kind of open up a discussion about what happens when our knitting mojo or our knitting style changes, when the things that we've been knitting or the types of yarns that we've been using no longer suit us or suit where we live, or et cetera, et cetera. So we'll be talking a little bit about that throughout the podcast. So this topic was brought up by one of the members of the circle, Mary Lynn, who spends part of her time in Quebec and part of her time in New Zealand. And so obviously when you're in different hemispheres, you know, maybe the types of yarns that you're using don't fit the location that you're living. So there we are. We're going to talk a little bit about that later. Sorry, I've got mohair kind of floating around here because I was playing, or not, maybe not mohair, silk. Yeah, Shibui silk. And it's kind of floating around. So anyway, I digress. Let's jump right in. First off, what am I wearing? So I've showed you this in the last episode, I think. This is my The Circle cowl. So it's just a small little cowl that I designed for members of the circle only. So the pattern is not published anywhere out in the interwebs. This is for members of the circle, and it's available on the in the circle portal that all stuff for membership is housed. So if you are interested in becoming a member of the circle, the membership is still open. I am closing it sorry, I'm just looking at my calendar. I am closing it on the 30th of November, and it won't open again until the spring. So if you'd like to jump on board or you want more information about the circle, follow the link down in the description box to the website where you can gather up some information there, or send me a DM. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have about that. So, all right. Oh, I should probably tell you this yarn. So I don't know if you can see it. Look at me just pulling it up here. It's got a really beautiful sheen. Look at that stitch definition. And of course, you cannot go wrong, and you don't get that kind of stitch definition without using some Malabrigo. So this is knit up out of Malabrigo Mecca, although you can't see the A on the end there. This is a bulky weight yarn, 119 meters or 130 yards, 100 grams. And this is a second skein that I have. I got this, as you may remember, in a de-stash that the lovely Matthew, Fairy Godfather, was doing. And I snagged 2 skeins of this Polar Morn colorway and another skein of, I don't know if you can see it there. Can you see that right there beside the bear? Right there. My finger's pointing right at it. I don't know what that colorway is called because I don't want to lean over there and get the label, but that's the other skein that I got. It's like beautiful, warm brown with some rusty colors going through it. So anyway, that's what I knit the circle cowl. So you can see it's a little, I mean, I tried to make them circles, so, you know, there it is. But it's a perfect little cowl to wear, keeps you toasty warm, not too bulky. You know, sometimes it's really appropriate to wear those cowls or those scarves that you wrap around 30 times and they, you know, they're big and bulky and keep you super warm. Sometimes you just want something that just goes on like this, just covers your neck. So there it is. That's what I'm wearing today, the circle cowl. All right, let me just get this out of the way. I'm going to talk about this a little bit later. I want to also chat with you about the Lunenburg Pullover. let me see if, so you may recall that I was doing a commission knit for somebody. They chose the Lunenburg Pullover, which is a beautiful, beautiful design. I thoroughly enjoyed knitting it. It was just a lovely, fun knit. The yoke, although, you know, a regular yoke, nothing fancy about it. You know, you knit it in the round and then you pick up for the sleeves. You know, you put the sleeve stitches on hold and you knit the body and then you pick up for the sleeves. This of course is a pattern by Amy Christophers. I hope I said that right. This is not the one that I knit, but this is the one from the project or the pattern page. The unique thing about this particular yoke is it's got, can you see right there where my thumb is? It's got purl stitches in it, which gives it this amazing texture, right? I don't have the actual sweater to show you because I dropped it off to the recipient yesterday. We met in New Glasgow, and sorry, I'm just trying to see if I've got some pictures here, and I thought I did, but darn it. Let me see, photo dump, there we go, November, there we go. Yes, so I dropped it off to her yesterday. She had me knit this sweater for her as a Christmas gift to her daughter. So there's mine. This is when it was it had dried enough that I was hanging it up to kind of hasten the drying. When we realized that Canada Post was going on strike, we decided we weren't going to throw it in the mail. So that's why we met in New Glasgow to drop it off. So that is the finished sweater. It was such an enjoyable knit, even just the plain old stockinette in the body and the arms, that I actually bought a kit from Lichen Lace, which I'll talk to you about in a minute, for myself to make myself one of these. So this is the smallest size that I knit for this commission. Oh, so beautiful. There were lots of ends to weave in the yoke because each one of those rounds, each one of the rounds in the yoke incorporated 2 different colors. So I was changing colors each time, unlike some other Fair Isle projects where you would just carry the yarn, the 2 yarns that you're using. This was color changing, but I don't mind it. You can't deny that the effect is gorgeous. So I was very, very happy with the results of this. Once I gave this sweater a bath and threw it in some Eucalan and got it ready for blocking, the yarn softened up a lot. The yarn is the Lichen Lace Rustic Sport. So it does have, I mean, in the name it says rustic. So it does have a little bit of bite to it when you're knitting with it, but it certainly did soften up after blocking. So super duper happy with that finished object. I was very monogamous about that object because it was a commission knit and I did want to get it done. So funny story about it though, last weekend I was away at the Sisterhood Fibers fall retreat, which was held in Debert, Nova Scotia, and is really just a wonderful weekend of relaxation. So you take whatever projects you're working on, whether you're working, I was obviously knitting, there was people crocheting, spinning, weaving, rug hooking, wet felting, what else? Applique. It's just so many different fiber arts related crafts were going on around you. And you just took some time to sit and relax and knit or craft until your heart's content. The food was great. The company was amazing. And we had some great, a couple of great vendors. which I'll talk about in just one sec, because of course I did treat myself. And it was a great weekend. So of course I took the sweater with me because I had about, I don't know, a half or a third of the final sleeve left to knit. And I thought, okay, I'm going to finish that on Friday night. And then I brought some more yarn to start a wrap that I have been wanting to knit. So here I am chatting away with my new friends, and I'm knitting away on this sleeve, and I'm looking at the ball of yarn that I was using, and it's getting to the end, and I'm not concerned. I'm not playing yarn chicken because I have the other skein in a bag in my room, knitting away. So I decide to take a wee break because I'm getting to the point where I know I've only got probably 2 rounds left of yarn left. Excuse myself to go get a cup of tea and to grab the other skein. And much to my horror, I realized when I got to my room that I forgot the final skein of yarn at home. Oh, I was so mad. I was so mad. I think I had 12 rounds left on the sleeve and then the 2 inches of ribbing. That's all I had left to knit on this sweater. I was so angry. So I put myself in a timeout and did some deep breathing, and then grabbed my second project and came back to the room. So anyhow, when I got home on Sunday afternoon, I was able to run up the stairs into my studio here, grab the other skein, which was sitting right here on my desk. I had just forgotten to put it in my bag, and whipped up that sleeve and got the sweater in a bath. So, I mean, it ended okay, but I was so disappointed that I wasn't able to finish the project on Friday. Anyhow, that's the story of the Lunenburg sweater. So the colorways, sorry, I should have given you the colorways. Actually, I'm going to show them to you. Sorry, while I lean down here. I also had lots and lots of yarn left over, which of course I gave to the person for whom I knit the sweater. So there is enough in the contrast colors and almost a full skein of the main color that she could very easily knit a hat and some gloves or fingerless gloves or a cowl or anything like that. So the main color is Cowl. Yeah, it's kind of sort of, it's showing up a little bit lighter, but there it is. And then the contrast colors, there are 4 contrast colors. Here they are here. I think I showed these to you before. So we've got Sky, which of course is this blue color, Birch, which is the gray, Shrub is the green, whoops, and Pollen is that kind of greeny yellow. Yeah, so those are the colorways. I bought the same colorways for the version that I'm going to knit. Mine's going to, so that was the small sweater that I knit for the commission knit. I think the size that I've chosen for myself is size 3. And you can read all about the sizes on the Lichen Lace website or on the pattern page on Ravelry. So let me just put this stuff away. So that is that. All right. Oh, I just knocked that over. Okay, works in progress. Let's jump right into works in progress. I have 3 works in progress. So of course, as soon as I finish that commission knit, I cast on all the things, right? Who doesn't? Part of the problem, part of the reason I cast on all the things is because Natural Ewe Yarns My LYS is having a fall make-along. So of course I had to cast something on. So let's start with that. So one of the patterns that, oh, I don't have the pattern. Huh. All right, I'll just look it up on Ravelry. So one of the patterns that Natural Ewe selected for the knit along, let me just go to Natural Ewe, there it is right there, is called the Slip Away Cowl. It's a free pattern by Crazy Sock Lady. So you can see main color and some fun color work there. Now, the reason that I chose this pattern, do I need another cowl? You can never have enough cowls, especially here in Nova Scotia now that, you know, it's disgusting winter. This is a mosaic knitting cowl. I have never done mosaic knitting. I don't know how to do mosaic knitting. I know, it's hard to believe, right? So this slip away cowl is a free pattern on Ravelry. It takes fingering weight yarn. Fun mosaic cowl, perfect for even a beginner, that's me, who is wanting to try some new techniques. This pattern is perfect for using up some of the half skeins of fingering weight that you have sitting around. If you don't know, which I didn't, mosaic knitting is a method of knitting that uses slipped stitches to create colorwork designs across your work. It's different from stranded colorwork. I love stranded colorwork. So here we go with this. In that you're not carrying the two yarns around, but instead alternating the colors that you use every other round. Okay, so here is kind of a, I should have showed you this picture here. There's the cowl, looks like blocked out there. Isn't that pretty? I'm color me intrigued. Color me intrigued. So I had a skein of Natural Ewe Pure and Simple fingering left over. What did I use this for? This is in the Morning Fog colorway. Oh, do you know what I did with this? If you maybe remember last year, I did the, oh, I can't remember what it's called. I did a top out of this. It was, again, a Natural Ewe make along. What was it called? It had, there it is there. The Aster Tea. Do you remember that one? So the body of that is out of this particular, oh, look how short my hair was. Wow. Sorry. So I used minis for that, minis that I got from Jody of the Grocery Girls. And then the body is this Morning Fog colorway. Actually, I should have double checked that. It is Morning Fog. So I had a skein of this left. Sorry, I'm all over the place this morning, aren't I? This is Pure and Simple fingering, 100% untreated merino, 400 meters, 100 grams. And then deep stash dive, I found this. Now, is it pure finger? Is it truly fingering? No, but for a cowl, I don't care. This is a Loops and Threads, so Michael's washable wool blurred lines, it's called. Let's see, washable wool and nylon, so 75-25. Is there a colorway? Garden Party. So I thought, you know, hey, let's use up some stash. I did get it cast on. As you can see, I took the tips off this cord because I needed the tips for another project that I'll tell you about in a moment. So I've got the ribbing done, and I've got the first two rounds completed, but I think I'm doing it wrong. So I'm going to pull it back, and I'm going to call Andrea over at Natural Ewe because she is very, very skilled at mosaic knitting, and ask her to give me a hand with this because, yeah, I clearly did it wrong, but that's okay. I'm learning something new. And it'll be another fun cowl to have in my basket by the door. I think that when the color changes, it's going to be a great deal of fun. So that is work in progress number one, the knit along for my LYS. Now, if you'd like to join the knit along, there are 4 patterns, knitting patterns that they have suggested, and there are 2 crochet patterns as well. I think there's only 2, maybe there's more. I'll put the link to the Facebook page down below, and if you want to join in, join in. Ideally you're using their yarn, of course, but you can still knit along, even if you don't have any Natural Ewe yarns. So that's work in progress number 1. Work in progress number 2. if you have followed me for a while, you know that I love Curious Handmade, Helen Stewart. I love, love, love every single one of her patterns. And so when I saw that she was launching her Knit Vent 2024, I jumped on board. And sorry, I'm just looking for the bag that has that project in it. There it is. Purchased the Knit Vent. And thank goodness this was the project for which I had yarn at the retreat last weekend. So I cast it on right away. So the first pattern is the Vignette Wrap. So you can see, so this printing job is not really that great. You can see how large this is. This picture here gives you a better idea right there. So technically, you know, in these pictures, it's done as a fade. I'm not doing it as a fade. The wrap is 24 inches wide by 104 inches long. There's also an option for a throw, which is 52 inches square. I'm going this route. This is going to be a gift. And I was lucky enough to have a gift card from Natural You. So I went down to the store and I checked out what Andrea and Jasmine had in stock. And I bought 5 skeins of this Gots to Have It Merino, which is Global Organic Textile Standard Scholler EXP Chlorine-Free Superwash. 400 meters, 115 grams in the Harvest colorway. So I used my gift card towards this. Look at that. Oh. So I bought 5 skeins of this to do this massive throw, and I was able to get rolling. Oh, look at bad knitter. I stopped in the middle of a round, or in the middle of a row. Good gosh. All right, so anyhow, I'm going to just, hang on, I snagged a stitch there. There we go. All right, so this gives you kind of an idea of, I'm still in the increasing stages. I haven't gotten to that spot where it's the width it's going to be, but this is knitting up beautifully. Look at that colors there. Ooh, isn't that nice? So we got some great garter stitch sections, which who doesn't love garter stitch? Squishy, squishy. And then I'm just trying to, hang on just a sec. Just trying to make this, let me go to the bottom part here. And then I'm not showing you this very well, am I? And then a little bit of lace work. It doesn't really show up. If you follow me on Instagram, I'll show some better pictures there. Maybe when I get to the flats, the width, as wide as it's going to be stage, it'll be easier to show. But so that's my other work in progress. This, like I say, is going to be a gift. 5 skeins of this. So, oh, I don't know if you can see. Oh, so nice. Anyhow. So this is the kind of project, like I took this to Knit Night on Thursday. It's really the kind of project that you can sit and watch TV. You can chat with people while you're working on it, because the Helen Stewart's patterns are so well written. They have a beautiful, although they're very many pages, if you're like me and you're a paper and pen girl, they have a great row by row by row instruction, and each row shows you the stitch count. So you can right away do a quick check and realize if you're on track or if you're not, which is, you know, great help, because then you don't get too far. I'm just pulling up the Ravelry so you can get a, oops, look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? And look at the size of it. Oh, you can see the lace work far better there. here she is wearing it. So you can see it's such a beautifully generous sized wrap. So I'm looking forward to having that finished and gifting that. Okay, and then finally, my third cast on work in progress. There we go. My gosh, is the LowTide Sweater. So this is a design by Unwind Knitwear. It is cable work, and this is the project that I am, actually I'm going to pull it up on Ravelry so you can see it better. I am using the Ahuru Merino Possum 4-ply from Happy Go Knitty. So Happy Go Knitty generously gifted me 4 skeins of this in the driftwood colorway. And I posted on my Instagram yesterday that I wish you could feel this, because it is so soft. It is so soft. I'm just bringing up the project right now so I can show you better pictures of the sweater, because the sweater is beautiful. Look at that. So saddle shoulder construction with a beautiful cable panel that is on the front and the back and on the sleeves. Look at there. Oh, and again, look at it, goes right down, the cables go right down to the ribbing. So I casted this on, and I have to tell you, I cannot put it down. It is so much fun to knit. I haven't gotten too far. There's the front. So the needles here. So you can see it's already starting to take shape. There's the sleeve. Isn't it beautiful? This pattern is amazingly well written. It's one of those patterns that I have to keep reminding myself, read the pattern and knit the stitches. Trust the pattern because it is so well written that you will not go wrong. And the yarn, I just want to, oh, it's so beautiful. So this has kind of been my focus. I did not take this to Knit Night only because I want to really pay attention to make sure that I don't bugger up the cables, right? Although it's deceptively easy, even though it looks really difficult, it's not. I would say that even a beginner cable knitter could do this pattern for sure. So this is a paid for pattern. It's $11.20 Canadian or 6 British pounds. Let's see. In this sample here, I'm knitting it in the yarn that the sample was knit in, which is the Ahuru, I think I'm saying that right, 4-ply fingering weight. LowTide is a textured garment featuring combinations of eyelet, lace, and cables. Textured design is inspired by the ripples of sand, tiny rivulets of water, and scattering of pebbles and shells left on the beach by a receding tide, which is so appropriate for where I live here on the North Shore of Nova Scotia, Canada. Excuse me. The garment is worked top down, as you saw, mainly in the round. After the neckband, right and left saddle shoulders are worked flat. Stitches are then picked up along each side of each saddle shoulder piece to form the front and back of the garment. Short row shaping is worked where each saddle shoulder joins the neckband to create a sloped shoulder and to maintain the curve of the neckband. Video tutorial is also available to guide you through this first section of construction. Garment is then worked in the round with increases used to shape the sleeves front and back. etc., etc. So there are 10 sizes in the pattern. There's a recommended positive ease of 3 inches, 3+ inches. Let's see. Sample, okay, so the sample wearer is 5'10" with a 37-inch chest circumference. The sample has been worked in size 4, giving the wearer 9.75 inches of positive ease. So I love it when designers do that. So you can really determine the sizing a little better, I think. So that is the LowTide by Rachel Ilsley is the designer. Unwind Knitwear. You can find that on Ravelry, but of course I will link it below. One thing I forgot to mention, the bag that I have my vignette shawl in or wrap in is of course one of my favorite bags, and it is by my favorite bag designer, Be By Design. Bridget is from Ontario, and I have many of her bags and some of her purses too. So I've shown you this before, lots and tons of pockets. The snaps are removable. It's got the drawstring cord should I wish to close it. And of course there's tons of pockets inside and tons of room. It's a great bag that I use often. The slip-away cowl is also in a Be By Design bag. This is one of my Be By Design project bags, bucket bags. There's the logo there. So drawstring at the top that you can close and tie off. But what I like about this is that when it opens up, it's nice and big, it sits nice and flat. And then finally, my LowTide sweater is also in a Be By Design bag. I told you I had a lot of them. So this is one of her half cork and fabric bags with the cork handles, cork on the bottom. And it has a zippered pouch inside, lots of room, of course, and it closes via a snap. So this is one of my faves, nice and deep. It's great to take to knit night, and the straps are long enough that you can put it over your shoulder. So those are my bags so far. All right, let me just put this pattern away so I don't misplace it. And let's now move on to stash planning. Okay, so I started thinking about all of this stash stuff that I have over here and here. I'm thinking, all right, it's sitting there and you've got this great library of patterns in Ravelry, plus I got all these patterns when I was at the retreat last weekend, which I'll show you those in a minute. You know, and you keep thinking about, what am I going to knit next? And what ends up happening inevitably is you think, oh, I've got the yarn for this sweater, this cowl, these pair of socks, whatever. I'm going to knit those next. But then of course you see those new patterns on Ravelry, and then you see the new patterns on Instagram, and somebody knitted in this great yarn, and you go, oh, I love that so much. And so you just default to the new project. You go and you buy new yarn. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with buying new yarn, but what ends up happening, if you're anything like me, and I'm sure you are, is you've got this great yarn sitting here that never gets used. It gets pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. So what I decided to do is do some stash planning and get everything ready so that I can grab the bag and start the project. I don't have to go look for the yarn. I don't have to go look for the pattern. I don't usually have to worry about my needles because I have now kind of downsized to using my interchangeable chai goos and my chai goo DPNs when I need those. I don't use any other needles. So I always have these ready. Oh, I just had a brilliant idea. Sorry, I digress. I will talk about the brilliant idea in a sec. So what I've decided to do is I pulled from my stash the yarns that I am wanting to use up sooner rather than later, I selected the patterns. I've printed out the patterns because I'm a paper and pen girl. I've got a project bag and I've got everything in the project bag ready to go. So that when I'm finished my LowTide cardigan and my vignette wrap and the slip-away cowl, is it called the slip-away cowl? Yes. That I can just pick the next project bag and start knitting. I don't have to go digging. So I'm going to place these project bags in a strategic place. So I might clear off some of this stuff that I'm maybe going to destash shortly and put the project bags right there beside my messy chair. And then everything's there. Because I find that when it's out of sight, it's out of mind. And so if I have everything ready, I will be more apt to grab that project as opposed to digging for a new one. Okay, so to that end, I have 5 projects ready to go. And I will talk to you about those now. Alrighty, I say in small print. So the first project is once again in a Be By Design project bag. I know, shocking, right? So this is just a drawstring shopping bag. Project bag, which I love, but when I'm starting this next project, I might transfer this into something different that's more appropriate. So what I have decided to knit here is the Artus Shawl. And so you can see I've got the pattern all printed out. This is a design by Natasha Hornby. I hope I said that right. Natasha Hornsby. I'm not very good at pronouncing names. Moonstruck Knits. It is a paid for pattern, $9.99 Canadian or 6.45 euros. What does she say? Artus is a triangular shawl that is worked top down from the center out, starting with a classic garter tab cast on. The shawl features narrow bands of 1x1 color created using the stranded technique. The eye-catching border of the shawl is worked using the mosaic technique. Good thing I'm learning on this smaller project, holding only 1 strand of yarn every row. So here is a better picture of that for you, the Artus Shawl. And I am knitting this in Lichen Lace, which is where I bought the kit. Lichen Lace yarn in the same colorway that I knit that Lunenburg Pullover. So, yes, ash, shrub, pollen, whoops, birch, good Lord, it's falling over. Oh, and sky. Is this sky? Yes. So the same color palette. So I have all of the yarn in this bag, and I have the pattern. I don't need to worry about the yarns. Wingspan, 69 inches across, and the depth is 27.5 inches. 5 different colors, as you saw. And it uses 3.5 and 3.75 millimeter needles, or US 4 and 5. 2 short double pointed needles in the same size as B, so 3.5 DPNs. There's a waffle pattern. There is mosaic color work. What else can I tell you? That's pretty much it. There is a thread on Ravelry for assistance with any difficulties. So I just enlarged the color work there. I'm enthralled by this pattern. I think it's going to be a beautiful knit. that's a different colorway. There's somebody who knitted in blues and browns. So you can see how large it is. So that is project planning number 1, again in one of my larger Be By Design project bags. So that will sit kind of over here and be ready for me when I'm ready to knit it. All right, the next project in another, guess who the bag designer is? Be By Design. I know, crazy, right? Beautiful feathers with a really fun lining. Just a drawstring project bag. Next project is called the Solar Flares Socks, designed by Anne Caissie. Solar Flares, a sudden flash of increased brightness. So while I was away on retreat last weekend, okay, I lie. That's the next one, sorry. So a little while ago, I treated myself to a ball of yarn from Natural You, and this is the Relana Garn Floaty Sock Funny Ball. This is in, there is no colorway. Well, it's color 1686, so anyway. But as you can see, teals and purples and mauves and gray in there as well. So I'm going to pair that with this West Yorkshire Spinners fingering that I was gifted, funnily enough, and this was just a happy accident, by the creator of Be By Design. So I used to teach Bridget yoga. I used to go to her house and we would do yoga once a week. And she made a vacation or a trip to Scotland, which is where she comes from. And she brought me back that West Yorkshire Spinners yarn for a gift, which was just so lovely. So the Solar Flare socks, I just realized I haven't even showed you the socks. Here they are here. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. Here we go. So you've got a solid color, and then, which I'll obviously use the purple. And then the funny ball, I guess it's called, for the color work. I thought that that would just be a fun pair of socks. So free pattern on Ravelry. So if you're looking for a fun color work pair of socks, grab those. Let's see, what can I tell you about them? It's from February 2022. Regular sock sizes, regular stitches. Oh, it's toe up. So again, that's a little bit of a challenge for me, only because I usually do cuff down. There's lots of charts. Don't have to worry about showing them to you because it is a free pattern. So lots of charts, lots of written work. There's 498 projects on Ravelry. So it's a well knitted pattern. So that is stash planning project number 2. Okay, number 3, Lunenburg Pullover. So I showed you my finished Lunenburg Pullover. I also fell in love with it so much, I bought myself a kit. So here is the yarn for that. I won't go into too much detail about the pattern because we just talked about it, but that is already in this basket that was made for me by the lovely Anna, who is a local maker here. She lives in New Glasgow, right near me. And if you watch, I think on the next episode, I'll be featuring some of her beautiful project bags. So stay tuned for that. They are limited edition, so you will want to take a look and grab up your project bag ASAP, because they won't last long. So that's project number 3. Project number 4. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. On my way to retreat last weekend, I stopped at Sisterhood Fibers in Truro and picked myself up 2 skeins of Fleece Artist sock. So the first one that I got is this one, Fleece Artist Organic Cottage Sock in the, it's got organic, so 80 merino, 20 nylon in the Tobermory, just their Canadian Parks, I think, colorways, Tobermory colorway. It's a beautiful, beautiful navy and nice brown, and there's some mauves in here, or caramel. Oh, it's so gorgeous. So my daughter, my youngest daughter, lives on Manitoulin Island in Ontario, which, you know, if you know that area, you drive up to Tobermory and you jump on the Chichiman ferry and make yourself, get yourself over to Manitoulin Island from Tobermory. So I thought that with this beautiful skein of yarn, I will be knitting up my lovely daughter a Noelle Scarflette. So this is another pattern from the Curious Handmade Helen Stewart's Knit Vent. So let me just pop over to Rav here and see if I can get a better picture of this for you, so you can see it better. Whoops. There we go. No, maybe not. Library. Ah, yes. Okay. So you can see it there. Now I'm going to have lots of yarn left over, so I might consider, let me see if I can make that a bit bigger. So it's very similar patterning to the shawl that I'm knitting right now. It's got that lace motif in there, some garter stitch. But I think that my lovely daughter will really like this. It's kind of her style. So that is in, I know this is going to be shocking to you. It's not in a Be by Design bag. This is in my I Love Ravelry project bag, which I got, 2012 or 2013 or something like that. I can't remember, at Rhinebeck. So yeah, so that is project number 4. And project number 5 is another Fleece Artist cottage sock in the Sable Island colorway. So beautiful grays into blues, into some darker blues, into dark, dark gray. And by the way, these are 349 meters or 115 grams, 4 ounces. It's machine washable. And I will be making up for my other daughter, who is just finishing her nursing schooling, this ornamental hat. This is another Curious Handmade Knit Vent pattern. So let me see if I can bring that up for you. Knit Vent hat, ornamental hat, I mean. So it's got a little eyelet detailing there, fold over brim, which I love, keeps you nice and toasty warm. Oh, there we go. There's a, so I think that this is going to make a lovely hat. It's so soft too, my goodness. And that, my friends, is project number 5. So I have 5 projects. This is a, I don't know if this is a Be by Design bag. Bridget, if you're watching, can you remember? There's no tag on it. If this is a Be By Design bag, I apologize, Bridget. If it's not, I apologize to the maker. Anyway, there we go. So I have 5 projects all ready to go. Patterns in the project bags, all the yarn I need in the project bags. My needles are always at the ready. There we go, organized. Okay, then I did have this skein of Shabui Knits kid mohair and silk, 60 kid mohair, 40% silk, 300 meters. This is the Pool colorway. And I wanted to kit this up too, or get it ready, but I don't know what to knit with it. Or if I should maybe save it and put it with some fingering. I don't know. What do you think? If you have some ideas for me for stash planning for this skein of yarn, let me know. And I also have 3 skeins of Estelle worsted that I don't know what to do with, but I would like to use these. So this here is the Heather Blue Spruce. This is Lagoon in the middle. And on top here, this one is called Brown. Sorry, I thought it was going to have a really fancy name, but so I don't know. Maybe I'll plan a color work. I mean, I don't know though. I've got enough of that ivory or ecru. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Any ideas about this one? Let me know. All right. Now, last episode I showed you this great fabric. This great fabric that I got. Knitting Queen, Knit Happens, etc., etc. Right? And it's just so fun. Knitting Goddess. Yes, that's absolutely me. Knitting Goddess. Huh. Peace, love, knit. Yep. So what I'm thinking is, I don't have my other case. It's downstairs, but what I was thinking of using these cases here as my outline or my template and making my own cases for my needles out of this fabric. There's nothing wrong with this case. Nothing wrong at all. It is perfect for its intended use. It has, you know, some storage in it. It's a great case. But wouldn't this be more fun? What do you think? I think so. So I'm going to think about that. I am going to see if I can source a pattern similar to this that I could retrofit, if you will, for my needles. Or perhaps I can just make a case. See what happens. I do like these, but what I don't like about this is if I have this open. Now, this doesn't happen with my circulars, my interchangeables, but with the DPNs. So if I leave this open and this tilts, all these needles fall out. So you're gonna want to do something, you know, put something here or put an extra flap or, you know, something along those lines. So maybe I'll design something like that so I can use up this great knitting fabric that I got. And I'm going to make a project bag. Sorry, Bridget. So that's my plan for that. And then quickly, I also wanted to share some of these free patterns that I got at my retreat. So fun. I've never heard of this yarn, but anyway, so I'm apparently on a cable kick because if you can take a look at that, but what I want to show you and what really kind of grabbed me about this is this. Look at the back of that sweater. Now, this kind of got me thinking that you can kind of incorporate that into anything, right? I just thought it was such a unique design, but I do love those cables. So there's this one, and then I picked up this guy or girl with some great cable detail all over, even on the back. And I really love this, although the ladies at the table where I was sitting, we decided that if we were to knit this, we would probably wear this backwards. We would have this opening at the back. Now, I can't see a picture of the back, but based on the schematic, it looks like it will just be plain. So I could easily flip it around, put the pockets on the other side. And then I know another cable sweater. Color me intrigued. Apparently I'm liking cables right now. I really like this one. Oh, actually, look, I'm wearing a cable sweater. This is not a hand knit sweater, but all the same. So really, really like this one. Don't like that, but really like this one. And then look at these knee highs, but wait until you see the back. Oh, isn't that cute? I just want to make those just for the sake of having a knee-high, set of knee-high socks. Anyway, got these free patterns. I am drawn to this one, so I may dig a little deeper into my stash and kit this up for my stash planning, but there it is. So while I'm tidying up here, I want you to put some thought into this. Do you have stash that is just not appropriate for your lifestyle anymore? Think about things like eyelash yarn. Remember eyelash yarn when it was the thing, you know? Maybe you've got some of that in your stash still. What about Fentex? Do you remember? My grandma used to make me Fentex slippers. Do you have some of that in your stash that, you know, maybe it was great in the 70s? I don't know. Are you living in a different climate, or are you a snowbird and you know, you're in Canada in the summer and you go somewhere sunny and warm for the winter, and it's just not appropriate to take your 100% merino with you to knit, because you're not going to knit a sweater while you're in the sunny climates or a different hemisphere, as my friend Marie-Lynn is. What do you do with that stash? Do you keep it because you covet it and because you spent all this money on this stash? Or do you kind of make a decision to go through your stash and really strategically think about what you are going to use this stash for? Does it fit your lifestyle anymore? If the answer is no, or if there is a hesitation about a specific yarn or a specific notion or pattern or something, would it be better to perhaps sell it off in a D-stash or gift it? Now, bottom line is sometimes this yarn costs us a lot of money, and so gifting it away is not always the best solution. Maybe you could de-stash it and use the funds that you make from de-stashing to purchase yarn that is more appropriate for where you're living or your tastes now, right? Our tastes change so much. I mean, I'm just looking over there on my shelf right now, and I have some super bulky weight yarn that I bought, it's got to be 15 years ago or more, for an outdoor sweater. It's not a next to skin sweater. It's a, you know, like a barn sweater or something like that. And it's very lanolin. It's full of lanolin, right? Or at least that's how it started. The colors I love. I love them. But am I going to knit a sweater like that anymore? No. I'm all about the comfort now. I want the next to skin soft, or I want, all right, let's be honest, a little bougie, right? I want the real super bougie fibers. Yeah, you know, so little time to knit. so little hour or so few hours to do the things that we love like that, I want to make sure that I'm using yarn that I truly love and knitting patterns that I truly want to wear and that suit my lifestyle. You know, unless I'm commission knitting, of course, I don't have any control over what I'm commission knitting, but I guess I do. I could say no to it, but for my own personal knitting, I want to make sure that the stash matches what I need, and what I like, and what I want. So give that some thought. Give that some thought and let me know what you think about doing things like destashes and things like that. The reason partly also that I bring this up, not just because Marie Lynn brought it up to me, but also, you know, even like the lovely Leanne, the Knitty Stew, has been thinking about doing a destash of some yarn. I don't know for sure what her reasoning is behind that, but you know, maybe it is just to decrease the amount of yarn. Perhaps it's just stuff that she knows she's never going to knit. But I think that it helps us use what we have when we can see what we have and we're not overwhelmed by stuff that we're keeping out of a sense of duty because we bought it. So I hope that makes sense. Let me know your thoughts on that though, because I think that we are all in the same boat, whether it's our knitting yarn or if we're weavers or spinners or it doesn't matter what the craft is. We tend to collect, and perhaps it's time for us to use or let the yarn go. Let the yarn go. Be one with the yarn. Let the yarn go. All right. Let's take a look at our Knitter's Oracle for this episode. There we go. Where are the cards? There they are. Okay. Excuse me. Sorry. Give them a little shuffle. And split the deck. And what do we have? Oh, okay. So this episode's card is the Sweater Curse. The Sweater Curse. Pardon me. Okay. The Sweater Curse. Sweater, excuse me. Sorry about that. Sweater Curse is an ominous card, often indicating that a swift and sudden ending is on the horizon. This can be a sort of reaping what you've sown moment, or else a culmination of tensions and red flags coming to head. It could also indicate but a test rather than a surefire end, a moment of reckoning, a pass-fail. Brace yourself for upheaval, but remember that some endings are for the best. The Sweater Curse. The Sweater Curse in knitting is a belief that knitting a sweater for a romantic partner too soon in a relationship will cause a breakup. There are many theories as to why this is: too much commitment too fast, a breeding ground for resentment if the gift isn't appreciated, etc., etc. But the takeaway is generally put a ring on it before you put a string in it. I love it. All right, the Sweater Curse. Momenting of reckoning, a pass or fail. This brings to mind that you know, situation where you're knitting away on something and you know darn well you hate it, but you're 3/4 of the way through, and so you continue on. Pass, fail. So I don't know if you can see right there. That is my Seaside Stole. I've shown it to you before in previous episodes. Seaside Stole, designed by Jasmine Remmel of Natural You. I use Natural You yarns to knit that up. That red color that you can see right there is the Cosmo colorway, and it's in there merino. I purchased that yarn from Natural Ewe with mohair to knit up the diaphanous raglan sweater. There is absolutely nothing wrong with the diaphanous raglan pattern. It's a beautiful pattern. The body is knit in the merino and the mohair held together, and then the sleeves are knit in just the mohair. Beautiful. I had the body all knit. I had one sleeve completed, and I was starting on the second sleeve, and I was hating every single moment of it. I hated the shirt. I knew darn well that I would never wear it because it was far too cropped. I considered taking the ribbing out of the body and extending the body, and I thus thought, no. It had a very deep V in the front. It was just not my style. And so I frogged it, and I used the yarn partially for that shawl. So when we talk about the sweater curse and being, you know, that moment of reckoning, a pass fail, it was a big fail. Don't get me wrong. I looked at that completed sweater and that Natural Ewe had as a sample, and I loved it. It's beautiful. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous sweater. It's just not a gorgeous sweater for me. And so I had to come to that decision that it was a fail. It was a big fail. And so instead of, you know, just putting it in the corner and whining, which actually I did for a little while, I frogged it and reused the yarn. So think about, excuse me, sorry. Think about your sweater curses and what you've done about them in the past. Sorry, I seem to have a tickle in my throat, which is rather bothersome for you, I'm quite sure. So you listen to me cough, cough, cough. So a little earlier, I did a random kind of generator. I put everybody's name in it who worked on the Nordic mix sweater and either got it finished or got it well underway. And I was drawing for this beautiful, beautiful quick measure bracelet. I showed you these in the last episode. I don't have mine here with me, but this is a lovely bracelet that you wear. And while you're knitting, you can unclip. See, it's got a little lobster claw here. Unclip this and open it up. And each one of these beautiful jade colored or green colored gems is about an inch. So you can measure your work with your bracelet, and then you just hook it back on. And it's a very, very pretty piece of knitting notion jewelry designed by the lovely Mabel and Rose Handmade, Nova Scotia maker, who just does the most exquisite work. So I did a random generator and, excuse me, I'm so sorry. And the winner of this particular bracelet, sorry, I just have to scroll up to the name, is, oh, I lost it. Where's my page? Ah, where's my page? There it is. Grannyswhoknit. So, there we go there. Oh, look, there we go. Look at that color there. So the deal was that even if you didn't complete the sweater, that was okay, as long as you made an attempt at it. So I will be reaching out and getting this in the mail as soon as Canada Post is off of the strike. So congratulations, Granny Who Knits. Grannies Who Knits. Sorry, not Granny Who Knits. Isn't that just adorable? So thank you so much for participating and knitting along and indulging me in showing me all of your lovely projects. So, all right, my friends, that's it for now. I hope that you have a great rest of your Sunday. Let me know if you have any questions. And if you are interested in joining us in the circle, please let me know. Membership is open until the end of the month. Then it will be closed again until the spring. We would love to have you. We are a small group who gets together each week in the 3 a.m. Knitter Zoom room to knit together and share our life's journeys. And there's so much more included in the membership. So I would love for you to check that out. Just follow the link down below and see if this will work for you. Take good care, keep knitting, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.